Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nixie coming back with another bullseye of a tutorial here today on the channel. I wanted to talk about vocal doubling, why I think vocal doubling is very important to get that texture, and what does texture and tangibility mean to me in making music. I want you guys to understand this concept. So if you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and drop any more video suggestions y'all got down below. I'm more than happy to get to it. So, usually when I think about somebody who's vocal doubling a lot, I always think about a situation where, I might have some songs where people be sending me like 8 to 10 stacks of vocal doubling. And usually for me personally, I always kind of don't like that stuff because I actually don't feel like it makes the vocal sound bigger. Maybe back in the day it did at one point. But one thing I want you guys to understand too is about the format, the way that people actually listen to music nowadays. Usually nowadays when people listen to music, they're listening to it on an iPhone or a mono speaker. And when you're doubling all of that, vocals back to back to back, you got to think about how an iPhone or kind of like a small mono speaker or a laptop speaker, which what people mostly listen to, right? It only really generates mid-range, right? So if you got a vocal that is you just piling on more and more and more mid-range, I feel like doing hella takes like 8 to 9, 10 of them makes the song sound smaller. I had somebody who sent me a song recently and they literally did like 10 vocal stacks like on some pop stuff, which is cool for pop, but this is rap music. And I sent them the song back and they're like, oh my God, how did you make the vocal sound so big? In reality, what I did is I actually took out some of the tracks and I used this trick right here. So let's listen to the actual song that I have right here. So the plugin that I want to go over today is Ontare's Autotune Duo. So I love this plugin a lot right here. And let's get listening to a little bit of the music and see how I like to even, kind of use something like this to make the vocals feel a little bit bigger than what they are.
Yeah, hey, yeah, know that shit don't ever bounce. Told your bitch to make it bounce. Take a trip way out of town. Rockin' all designer down. Know that shit don't ever bounce. Told your bitch to make it bounce. Take a trip way out of town. Rockin' all designer down.
She gon' really buy his numbers, yeah, he really make it count. I ain't seen they ass before, heard of me through word of mouth. I remember I was hustling, get a call and flip a pound. Your bitch with me.
All right, so let's go over what I like to do. So usually when I think about, a song like this, you got to make an observation before you even start mixing. It's all about observations. I'm seeing that, when we did record this song, we only really had, these are the ad-libs from before, but we only really had a lead vocal and some ad-libs. That's it. So, sometimes people like to do what is called like in and outs, stabs or whatever. Everybody got their own name for them depending on where you from and stuff like that. Main thing I'm trying to say is what I like to do in a situation where I only got a lead vocal, because some songs don't need no ad-libs. They don't need no background vocals. You just need a really strong lead vocal. What I like to do is I like to do like a parallel doubling type of situation, right? But I like to spice it up in a different way that most people don't use it, right? Usually when I do the width bus, I create like a stereo aux. Okay, cool. We already know all that. And then what I do is usually I actually like to parallel my Autotune. So the first thing I do is I like to pull out a plugin like Autotune, right? And I like to, this is a good trick if you kind of want to get like that NoCap sound. You know how that like NoCap, when you hear him rapping, it sounds like it's natural on the top, but there's that feeling of auto-tune. So sometimes, what I like to do is I like to pull out the auto-tune, right? Then after that, I like to use Autotune Duo as well, right? I usually keep the input on the same exact type, right? And what I'm doing is I'm trying to double the vocal, right? But in a different way. I'm actually using it to tune the vocal even more, but on parallel. This is a different technique that I kind of like to use to get the sound of more auto-tune without having it really sound like that. So, you got this Autotune Duo plugin right here, which I usually keep the timing variation on 0. If you were to push it even more, it's kind of cool for an effect. It will start to lag behind the vocal a lot. I usually keep the pitch variation low, but most important thing for me is always like make the vocal ranges match, and I play around with the vocal timbre and the vibrato, and I'm looking to add a little bit more dimension, okay? So let's listen to what it sounds like with and without. And always, when I do this trick, I always put it on like the most aggressive auto-tune that I can put it on. 0 retune speed, 0 harmonizing it, and I'm blending that back in there. But listen, you can't really hear it. It kind of adds a little bit of gritty texture, tangibility to the vocal. So let's listen real quick.
Yeah, hey, yeah, know that shit don't ever bounce. Told your bitch to make it bounce. Take a trip way out of town. Rockin' all designer down. Know that shit don't ever bounce. Told your bitch to make it bounce. Take a trip way out of town. Rockin' all designer down.
She go really bout his numbers, yeah, he really make it count. I ain't seen they ass before, heard of me through word of mouth. I remember I was hustling, get a call and flip a pound. Your bitch with me in the woods, she with me through all the route.
Know that I ain't fucking around, know that I ain't fucking around. Back when I ain't had no money, I remember I was down. I ain't.
So kind of like bringing a little bit of that parallel auto-tune right in there kind of actually ties up the melodies of the vocal a little bit better, as well as I want you guys to understand what tangibility is. Like now that you hear that little auto-tune, that little crispy spark of auto-tune, it kind of crunches up the vocal. It kind of makes you just want to sit there and be like, what the fuck is there? One artist that always make me feel like that way is NoCap. Like listen to NoCap's vocal and listen to how like the auto-tune is just so like multiple layers of it. It kind of makes you sit there and be like, what the hell is that? It kind of makes you want to keep listening to the music over and over and over so you can figure out what is that little gem inside of that little treasure chest of the lead vocal, right? And then, you know, usually what I like to do to also spice this trick up is I like to use something like a S1 stereo images as well to add a little bit more width to it to kind of help the vocal spread out a little bit more. So, you know, this trick usually would come from somebody like Dr. Dre. He used to usually love using something like the AMS DMX, and that was, you know, a sound that he was very known well for. Think about 50 Cent. Think about Eminem. Think about how even though you listen to 50 Cent or Eminem songs right now, they still sound very big. The mid-range does not sound clogged. That's the main thing that I'm trying to get out here today with this video, is not clogging up the mid-range. Because when you start packing more stuff into that grocery bag, it's going to start looking smaller and smaller. It's like the bag of chips too, you know? Sometimes you buy a bag of chips, right? And it has a lot of air inside of it. So you think that bitch is really bigger than what it is. That's kind of like what this vocal doubling technique is. So I'll probably go over a video with the actual AMS another day, but today I just wanted to show you guys how you can use it, just in case if you don't have UAD, you can use it with the auto-tune. And of course, like Dr. Dre, a thing he used to do is he would have it pan one side, you know, with the little pitch shift, and the other side with another pitch shift. And the auto-tune plugin kind of brings that in here. You know, that's what it's kind of modeling, auto doubler and everything like that. You got some other vocal ranges, but I usually keep it all on the same thing. And another alternative to this technique I wanted to show you guys is using something like the Sound Toys little micro shift, which is very, very good because you get a couple of 3 different sounds in a very, very simple format. Okay, and usually when I'm doing the vocal doubler, I like to roll off a little bit of the low end because I'm not really looking for that muddy type of you know, situation. I'm just looking for more of the high end, more of the mid range. I'm trying to make the mid range feel like more than what it really is. So, you know, the signal that's even going into the doubler, it's not doubling the low end. It's just only mostly doubling the mid range pretty much. So this is a technique I wanted to show y'all really quickly, you know, to help make your vocals sound bigger, fuller, more lush. Also give it a little bit of more texture, a little bit more tangibility. I just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my YouTube family. I'm getting back into the groove of making videos, guys. Okay, I've been upgrading the studio. We got some hardware. We're gonna do some hardware versus plugins. I got a brand new computer too. I just got the Mac M2, so I've been upgrading the whole setup because we gonna go crazy. Drop it down below. What y'all think? It's kind of weird when I don't drop videos every day. What y'all think about that? For me, it's kind of weird when I don't drop every day because I'm always inspired. I'm always trying to give you guys these new ideas. But the gems are going to keep coming, YouTube. Just want to say thanks a lot for being a great part of my family. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.